Now, Ed Miliband has vowed not to back down on his planned changes to Labour's relationship with the trade unions. The pledge comes ahead of his keynote speech to the Trades Union conference in Bournemouth on Tuesday. However, the Labour leader suffered a blow tonight as delegates started to arrive when the Unison union revealed the amount it gives the party will fall by more than £200,000. Here's our economics editor, Faisal Islam.
The trade unions are hardly on the march here in Bournemouth, but there is something of a fraternal falling out over the century-old link between the workers and the political party they created. One union, the GMB, has just pulled £1 million of funding, leaving a financial black hole for Labour. Another, Unite, was referred to the police by Labour in the summer after allegations of a union stitch-up of the selection of a parliamentary candidate in Falkirk. Unite was cleared on Friday. The TUC General Secretary had a clear message.
Well, I think people do need to shake hands and move on. I think people in the country, and certainly trade union members, want to start getting some answers to the problems that they face.
The last time Ed Miliband faced this Congress, he was booed and heckled. This week, the relationship even more strained by his plans to stick to the government's spending plans and to reform the historic Labour-Union link. The clearing of Unite in Falkirk offered a chance for him to drop those plans, but he's vowed to push on with them. And he'll tell the unions, it is the right thing to do. We have to change. Unite's leader Len McCluskey said there were no plans for his union to follow the GMB in pulling funds, heeding the call for fraternal love between the Labour Party and Labour movement. Why aren't you after an apology from Ed Miliband for what they said about Unite?
Well, we don't need an apology. The reality is that at the time that this all blew up and there was a media frenzy accusing us of all kinds of things, we said very clearly that we'd done nothing wrong and that a proper investigation and closer examination would prove that. And I'm delighted that the Labour Party have now arrived at the same conclusions.
Underpinning all of this is a possible change in the economic weather. Will the public much care for calls for anti-austerity civil disobedience, for example, if some sort of recovery is in the air? The unions are betting that better times are passing by millions of workers stuck on declining wages and the like of 0 hours contracts.
There will be coordinated action over pay. I thought it may have happened last year, but people are more worried about their jobs and more fearful, the morale is low. I do believe it will happen this year and into next year.
Tomorrow, the Chancellor will pronounce on Britain's recovery in a landmark speech. Not quite green shoots, but not far off. A repudiation of those who advocated for the so-called Plan B. A detailed response for those who argue that this recovery is a debt-fuelled consumer boom. Here at the TUC, the argument is that this recovery is passing by and even a joke for millions of ordinary workers with empty wallets. It's this argument that could settle the next election. Faisal Islam, Channel 4 News at the TUC in Bournemouth.